Now we.
That's a very good train. Yeah.
I'm trying to put it.
The grand.
Sweet.
Hi, Austin.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Nice to see everybody.
See you.
Good to see you.
That was bringing him over. No. Text me.
Hi, Austin, how you doing?
Yeah, no, we got.
Good, thanks.
Seven o'clock, call the meeting order, please. Brian, please lead us in the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ellie, roll call, please.
Patton.
Here.
Rank.
Here.
Chapman.
Here.
Fox.
Here.
Tyler.
Here.
Shearhart.
Here.
Drake.
Here. Let's see, number 4, approval agenda.
I just want to say something about the agenda. Ally and I are just looking at different formatting things, so that's why you've got some different looking things on your agenda. We're just looking for some feedback of how you might make it easier for all of us to take notes. So that's why we've got that strange chart in there, and no, Kip doesn't get to vote twice. I made that chart and I accidentally put it in there twice, because he's really confused.
We'll cross out Kip, second Kip.
Just Kip one.
Number 4, approval of the agenda, August 14, 2024.
I'll second that.
All in favor of approval of the agenda, August 14, 2024, say aye. Thank you. Number 5, approval of the minutes, July 10, 2024.
Will you approve the minutes?
I'll support. All in favor of approval of the minutes, July 10, 2024, say aye.
Aye.
Carries. Number 6, let's see. I'm confused by the chart.
Sorry.
6, public comment. 3 minutes, please. Public comment?
everybody doing today?
Good.
Normally she speaks first, so. My name is Emma Fitzgerald. I am the Michigan Healthy Climate Corps member serving with the Antrim Conservation District. So I just wanted to come and introduce myself. We're going around to all of the municipalities, letting you know that I exist, telling you about the program that I'm working on during my term, and letting you know of any other happenings in the summer at the Conservation District. So the Michigan Healthy Climate Corps is a new branch of AmeriCorps that was enacted this year to help enact the Michigan Healthy Climate Plan that was passed in 2022. There's cohort members all over the state. I just happen to be lucky enough to be in Antrim County. I grew up in Philcasca, and then I went to school at Grand Valley and came back and was able to start contributing to the community that I grew up in. So Melissa handed some information that we're going to leave with you, but my title is Michigan Green Communities Coordinator. So I will be, I am working on informing the whole county about the Michigan Green Communities Program. It is a voluntary program that is run by the Michigan Municipal League to benchmark where your sustainability level is at, connect you with other communities that are also trying to be more sustainable, and then help you figure out how to be better. So it's really focused on letting you figure out what is best for you rather than somebody coming in and telling you otherwise. And so there's a bunch of different action items and a bunch of different categories. The one that is most important to Antrim is land use, land use and water conservation, mobilizing residents, and then managing waste properly. So there's a couple really easy targets to just hit, get your foot in the door, and then connect with other communities that are similar size, similar demographic, have similar land use types. So yeah, it's a really cool program because it puts all of the power into you, and then it can help connect you to if you want to put a park here, or you want to do something here. It can help connect you to other grant funding. They can tell you how they got funding for projects, et cetera, et cetera. So, like I said, it's all totally voluntary, but if you want to talk about it, I am available, and you can reach me at the Conservation District.
Pretty cool, thank you.
Thank you very much. Public comment, any other public comment? Oh, Melissa?
Oh, no, that was bye-bye. Good to see you all.
Oh, you're leaving.
We're gonna chat. Good to see you. We'll be back.
Love it, love it.
October 9th, lake leaders, probably, I'll email you. We're getting all the lake people together for a big meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
I would like to thank the village and the DPW and the law enforcement office for all of their help with our street party the last Friday in July. It was a very, very nice event, and I think it's so good for the community and the little kids and just the neighbors to come out and be able to have a nice evening with each other. So thank you for all your help and work, DPW and law enforcement. So yeah, thank you.
Big kids too. Big kids too.
Everybody. Good times had by all.
Any other public comment? Closed public comment reports. President report, I don't have a report, but I do want to thank John. Last Saturday night was very busy for him. He had to go to a septic tank and rewire a pump late at night. So John, I can't thank you enough for your service above and beyond the call of duty. Normally, they'd have to wait till morning or Monday morning. And Scott, coming down to the campground, I'm sure there'll be more discussion on that action item E, so I'll let everyone wonder about that. That's all I have. Police report, Scott.
Thank you. Hopefully everybody got a chance to look at the report. Kind of a typical July for the summertime, busy. Again, everything that we did is kind of on the left-hand side. Everything else that the other agencies did are kind of highlighted on the right-hand side. At the bottom, kind of a recap of 4th of July went really well. This year had a lot of help from MSP or not a lot of help, but at least help from MSP and from Mansalona, sent a car up to help with that. So very much appreciated, and it went kind of, I mean, there were a lot of people, we kept busy, but it was not, problematic like it has been in years past. Following up on the ordinance violations, we went from 75, I think as of today, we're down to 11. So we got one in the hopper as far as with the village attorney's office, which is scheduled for a hearing on the 28th. So kind of suggested maybe getting that one done first, and maybe grabbing two at a time thereafter. So right now we've got 11 non-compliant, including the one that's on the 28th. So that couple of months ago, you guys approved some money for some equipment, and we thought about buying or needed some radios, some tasers, and some body cameras. Jairus, who's not here today, was very instrumental as far as getting us directed towards the 911 board and getting some portable radios that we could use and borrow. So that saved us a big chunk of that money. So we went and used the rest of that money for tasers. Instead of buying 3 tasers, we kept one of them. I kept it, and the 2 part-time guys got new tasers. They were all trained and ready to go on that. We ordered 3 new body cameras, and those are here, getting ready to be loaded. There's a program we're waiting for that will actually maintain and monitor how we use them and stuff like that as far as what gets redacted. And there's a lot of technical stuff behind that. So we're waiting for that program, and then once that gets here, then we'll kind of roll out the body cameras and start using those. So that'll be very useful. I think out of the $7,000 that you guys approved, we're probably going to be in the $4,000 range. So we'll be way under budget, and we have the necessary folks that we need. So thank you so much for that. And like I said, we're continuing to get those implemented as we go. Vehicles, just a couple minor repairs. The patrol car is a 2015, so that makes it about 9-10 years old. So 55,000 miles on it, so we're doing pretty good. So for a 9-year-old car with only that many miles, once in a while, I think it needs just some minor stuff. So that's already rock and roll. The Tahoe's still running with about 66,000 miles on it, so we're doing good. Any questions? Great, thank you.
Thank you, Scott. 7C, DPW report, John Shucks.
Yeah, as usual, pretty active summer month. Had some bigger project going on. Obviously, the 2 parties went fairly well, I thought. Did some tank inspection this month. My first go around and do that. I think it went pretty well. Still waiting on results back. Other than that, just a summary of a few of the projects we did. Unless you got any questions?
How's that new chipper working out that we bought?
I like it.
Looks good? Good.
Any other questions for John on DPW? All right. Number 8, correspondence. Ally, do you have any correspondence?
No.
All right. Number 9, approval of the bills.
I'll second that.
So, well, let's do a roll call.
Patton,
Yes.
Ring,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yep.
Shearhart,
Yes.
Drake.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Number 10, old business. 10A, sewer system upgrade. Jennifer, from Gordy Fraser Associates.
Well, it's been a while. It's good to see everyone again. It's been really summer, we're in August. With that being said, there's been a lot of stuff going related to the sewer system behind the scenes. So speaking with Rob, we just felt to take this opportunity to just give you guys an overall update. Some of you are aware and been in the process that are on the sewer committee. But just for this council's purposes, and please feel free to ask questions as I'm going through. There's basically, we've had 2 things going on. The sewer project itself, the design was complete last year and submitted in for permitting. Part of that process with the USDA, they have some parameters before you can go to the next step, which is solicit for bids. And one of them being what they call the right-of-way map in legal opinion. So your original system was built in the 1980s, and some of that infrastructure was placed on private property, and easements were intended to be obtained and recorded. However, through this process, we have found there are some elements throughout the village. I'm sure you guys are shocked to hear that may have had intent for easements to be recorded or engaged, but there were some gaps. So working with Brian Graham and legal counsel's, it's probably been a year process we've been going through with easements and keep in mind, this is sewer lines, sewer leads that some of these areas we're not even touching, but just as a matter for good form and bookkeeping and for security for you guys, so that DPW staff have access to that infrastructure if we ever have to do upgrades, that we do need to secure those easements. So it's been a process going through trying to find property owners, and I'm sure Allie, I know she's spending a lot of time on the same with Rob, is going back because some of those people aren't even there anymore, tracking them down, or they may not live around here. So we're getting closer. I think we're down to a couple left. Two. So slowly but surely, and so that's the final piece, to be honest, before we can actually, so Brian then would be able to certify that he's happy and we can submit that right away map certifications to USDA and move ahead to next steps to get it out for bid. Time-wise, we're still fine because of the loan, the grant itself is good for 5 years, and we just received it at the end of 2021 into 2022. But we're definitely, I know residents have asked with some of the user rate increases and the project itself, we want to see some movement. And so our plan is to, as soon as we get those easements secured, we're going to be putting it out for bids in the fall.
So those 2 easements are holding up the entire project.
Isn't that great?
Why can't we just go in the alley on that one and just cut them off and just run a pipe around them? Now you're on your own, bye-bye.
Because you are providing that existing service that customers.
But they're not allowing us to have access to that.
All right, and it's part of your ordinance. I mean, they're included in that, they're in the service district. So, I know, no, and your legal counsel, I mean, I thought the same thing. I thought, well, you know, we got the other ones, but anyway, so that's been challenging, and I'm hopeful we'll get through that. But once we do put that out for the scope of the project is to reconstruct pump stations, one of them being right out here. It's going to provide a generator and have a means for a generator access for this building as well, which is going to be nice for you guys to have as a sheltering event of a power outage. So there are a lot of great components with this project, and I know John, he's going to appreciate that as well. But these pump stations, the ones that do exist, they're eyesores. We just don't have the reliability. These are going to include SCADA, so they'll have remote monitoring, alarming, and provide that notification to DPW in the event that there's flooding or power failure issues. It'll also include a couple of pumps or cluster stations and one of them being the easement we're looking to obtain, and then all of the septic tanks in the community that are on the residential side are all going to be cleaned out and necessary maintenance enforced as part of that project. We'd already gone through and inspected all those, GPS'd all of them, and inventoried them. So we have a list of ones that need new access lids, risers, waterproofing, things like that. So that's the entire scope of the project. The second fold piece that's happening that you guys may remember in your efforts to be proactive when we submitted this engineering report originally to USDA was also to address our drain field because of the age of it. Similar situation as the pump stations, nothing lasts forever. So that project was included with the USDA, but during our permitting, what was come to our attention, originally Eagle had, through our district engineer, had provided us a letter acknowledging our project, accepting our project, and approving our project. Once we went through this exercise of permitting, it gets permitted locally through Eagle, but also down to Lansing through Eagle, through separate division, Water Resources Division. They started reviewing it. They looked at our permit because we have what's called an NPDES, a groundwater discharge permit that we submit, and that John puts in data on a monthly basis related to that. They started reviewing it and started asking questions. So through those questions, it was determined that they were not comfortable and confident with providing a drain field replacement for this community. So so that's the separate piece that we've been navigating on the side as a team with some of Rob and Kip, and now Matt Gabers has been part of the efforts too, which we appreciate, of discussing, having meetings with Eagle, trying to get them nailed down and committed to what they will approve instead. Because they've been very forthright to indicate what they won't approve, but they haven't indicated what they will approve at this point. So they've had us, when we started this exercise, I'm going to say summer of 2022. So they came out, we had some Zoom meetings with them. They asked us to do some sampling of our monitoring wells, get an inventory of our customers, and go through some initial steps just so that they could get a better understanding of our system. And I say that because traditionally, a municipality that has the customer base that we have that's generally over 20,000 gallons per day, the type of customers usually would not have a standard drain field. That's usually meant for small apartment complexes, very small communities. So we are unique in that aspect. I provided them data back from the 1980s as to why we got approved as a drain field. It was actually a variance issued by Eagle. And over the years, because that permit has to get renewed every 5 years, they continue to approve it under that pretense, recognizing that as a variance until now. And I think the trigger that probably was just the fact that you guys were proactive and wanted to replace it, put a new system in, provided them an avenue to do a deeper dive into it. So through the sampling, it was determined that, and I have a list of those too, that there were some metals indicated that were concerning to Eagle. Some indications and hits for formaldehyde was another one. And so that was definitely concerning to them, especially considering the proximity to that we have to Intermediate Lake. So we went through, and through the inventory of customers, John and his staff went through like some of the repair shops, the funeral home to make sure and physically disconnect, because a lot of those places had floor drains that we found through the years were actually connected to the sewer system. And so suspect tracking that down, and so we found them most likely to be the contributor to causing some of those metal levels formaldehyde. So we've gone through, we've explained that to Eagle, and at this point right now, we are actually, a year and a half later, doing a second round of sampling to try to demonstrate to them that we've done our measures to eliminate those parameters from the effluent. And obviously, that's not going to be the end all, the be all, because we're still going to be subject to them to tell us what kind of system they will permit. There's other things that they've asked us to do. Going off the original permit for this project, the intent was, and per Eagle and their reasoning of why they haven't flagged this till now, is they were always under the pretense that this community only served domestic customers, meaning human metabolic waste and restaurant waste. And as we know, we do have some other customers in here that fall outside those parameters. So that's definitely of concern, and, well, not concern, but it does need to be addressed in that regard. So we have had, like I said, 3-4 meetings with Eagle. It's been quite a circular discussion with them. I think everybody would agree with that. And vagueness. There are other things that we continue to do to be proactive. We definitely want to monitor our flows to get a better handle on what our current customer base is. But I think the last meeting we recently had with them is trying to get them to nail down and commit, because they are, what they've indicated to us is they do want to rewrite our permit. Right now, we're what they consider a general category 2210. I know that doesn't actually probably mean a whole lot to any of us, but it's a drain field that doesn't have any real sampling and effluent parameters that we have to comply with. And they have acknowledged that we will not be able to probably continue in that method of system. What will we look like? You know, there are other categories that we'll have to fall into. And so tonight, one of the things that I guess to have an engaging discussion with you guys, and we've posed to Eagle is, you know, we know we're going to have to do some type of upgrade, but a lot of it's going to be dependent on what are your expectations of growth for this community, looking at the next 10 to 20 years, and what kind of customer base do you guys want to accommodate. And as I see it right now, we have, you know, 2 or 3 options. One being we could basically try to continue to operate in our current permit conditions, put a new drain field in, but that would really entail us restricting our customer base, potentially even taking some customers off, definitely ones that don't fall within the residential or restaurant dwellings. And making sure, White House, yes, and then making sure that we're under 20,000 gallons per day. Because right now, there are times, especially during the summer season, with tourism, we're over 20,000 gallons per day. So we would definitely have to look at restricting that. Another option is we can maintain and be around 20,000 gallons per day and be over that a little bit. But again, we're looking at changing some of our customer base and ensuring that we're only serving residential and restaurants. So again, that lends itself to car wash, or to the laundromat currently, and car wash.
And the funeral home.
And the funeral home. That, yeah, potentially, you are absolutely correct, and the funeral home.
So what do you
And then
say if you take them off the system, does that mean you force them to do their own?
They have to do their own thing, yeah, I know. And then the third option is,
That's only one though.
and then the third option is we accommodate them, we accommodate growth. And Kim had a good point before. I mean, we've got a lot of customers on the south end of town that are within the village, within this potential service district, that they have failing existing septic tanks and systems, and opportunity for them to tie into our system, protect our chain of lakes, and want to grow. And so that puts us in a completely different category, which requires either mechanical treatment plant or lagoon system. And I know I'm taking you guys back 3 years. When we originally did this feasibility report, that was one of the options we presented to you guys. And obviously it had a lot different price tag than a drain field replacement. 4 or 5 times, 6 times the price tag. And then legacy costs related to operations, electricity, different operator, chemicals. And so logically at the time, and with Eagle being agreeable to it, a drain field replacement was, a slam dunk. But we're different. We have a different situation now. We have different Eagle staff, and some of it as far as their parameters, their requirements, they're quite stringent, and a lot of it coming out of PFAS, like service lines, Flint, I feel. I'm just speculating, but we're seeing it everywhere. There's a lot of different communities. I'm going through it with your neighbor in Bel Air, with administrative consent order. I've got other communities that, Eagles just, they're really enforcing their parameters.
So if they, 2 or 3 years ago, if they agreed to allow us to put a drain field in, we have a gentleman
We have a
from
letter, yeah.
Eagle that signed it, how can they now tell us no?
That was where we went round and round, and it got quite combative with them at that time.
That gentleman, he's retired.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. But I mean, we had meetings with him in part of that Zoom, and he was called out point blank because we based all of our funding, we based everything on that, and that's why we go through that exercise. USDA needs that letter to provide the support and validation for funding of this project. I mean, it was beyond, there was a lot of 4 other words. Not at that meeting, but in my head at least. No, it was, beyond disappointing, because part of my job is to obviously make sure you guys are compliant, but find affordable, cost-effective solutions that we can, all live with at the end of the day. So, no, it was a great question. And so at the moment, I don't know if I missed anything or not to get into right, but I know I'm just providing you guys like big overview highlights. There are some, additional details, but at the moment, the big thing I think we're looking at from you guys is to have a discussion of what do you guys want to look like? If we're going to make these investments, we have the opportunity to do that, but we do need to make that decision so that we can start seeking out funding sources.
Certainly our master plan would be a starting point, because
Yeah.
we just finished that last year, and make our decisions based on the master plan.
We have to allow for growth, but we also have to make it affordable for
I
the
know.
people that are
Right.
in this.
Right.
And everybody's sewer bills, mine included, has
Right.
tripled in the last year.
So basically, yes, your 3 options are to restrict yourself so you can have a system similar to what you have. There's going to be some parameters, but you're potentially cutting off some customers and limiting yourself. You could have the same flow you currently have right now, but you're only accommodating for residential and restaurant use. Or you have that higher flow parameter and you allow for light industrial, commercial. And I,
For the better way to see it up on that and go put it as a system that you got, right? So.
but you, I mean, the funeral home, I mean, you're correct in that regard too, that would be another one, and we would wanna look through the system if, yeah, if we want.
Technically, Airbnbs, I mean, nobody doesn't want to bring it up, but I mean, they want to get crappy. I mean, it's commercial. It's domestic waste, but it's commercial.
Right.
So,
Well, they consider those like a hotel.
yeah, I can consider my laundromat, I mean, what goes on there, it's domestic washing and drying. I don't do any industry or anything like that, though. It's part of that.
May I just offer
Not right now, let's hold up real quick here. Let me make sure.
So, how long before the staff like turns over again?
Oh, 40 years.
I like you. No, and a lot of them are new ones.
Right.
Which is even more dangerous.
Right.
And it's funny, I just, I had opportunity, to meet with, I don't know, does John Ross represent this area too?
Yep.
I
I spoke to him regarding that.
I just
said
talked
we're-
to him yesterday and I went through.
We're headed, I told him we're headed for a showdown.
Yeah, and I already prepared him, because I met him at another event, and you guys were one of the main customers, and just the frustrations with Eagle, I know I don't want to put too much in the record, so. It's just frustrating, and we've had a lot of circulars discussions, and no real clear direction. I mean, we have some steps that we need to do in our due diligence. We have to look at our monitoring wells. There's a few, our flow metering as some initial low-hanging fruit, but, yeah, I think the decision that is for you guys at this time is, we do need to have an in-depth discussion about.
So what I hear is there's no funding available for a mechanical or a lagoon system sitting out there. There's not a big pot of money.
Right now, I mean, there's loan money, but access to grant money, because we went through this with Bel Air, and they were under an administrative consent order, which is a state order by Eagle. They're mandated to implement these upgrades. And they received a loan at 2% from the state of Michigan.
So to put their lagoon system in?
To fix some
Okay.
measures, yeah.
So then we pass that cost over onto, what do we have, 238 people on sewer? 238?
190,
Okay,
191 maybe.
sake of math, 190. So 190 people would have to shoulder, give me a number.
Over 20 years.
Over 20 years. I did that math
By the
already.
time the 20 years is up, it'll be time to do it again.
Or, the other thing, just like this sewer project, as you guys recall, we went through USDA, and we actually more of an advocate for that. We did receive, 65% grant. And that's over a 40-year term at the same or similar interest rate because of your population size and your income base. So I would actually propose to, pursue both routes and see who gives you the better deal, hopeful that we'll get another grant from them to offset it. But there's still a loan element, and you guys went through this recently with USDA, that you did have to raise your rates some, and so that's something that we need to be prepared for and have that discussion.
So 6 million divided by 20 years is 300,000. That's $300,000 a year for the system divided by 190. This is including interest. So it would be $1,578 per year per one of these each of these households.
And that's 20 year, you said?
20 years.
So you could do 40 year, or Eagle has 30.
Okay, so then we just cut it in half. So
We'll be dead by then. Think about that.
yeah. Well, in 20 years, I'll probably be dead. So I just want to put it out there that this is.
Well, and I also, to further elaborate, these discussions with Eagle, they made some statements saying, they're going to review our permit, make some recommendations. They had some discussion about us on monitoring wells and sampling, and that was presented to us 2 years ago. They've still done nothing. They've still provided us nothing. So we're status quo. our permit that we currently operate under was resubmitted as it is every 5 years. It's still sitting there. We're still in current status. I mean, so they haven't, their urgency is not there. I say that now, not to jinx us, but, so,
Shut us down.
right.
That's.
And we're not out of compliance out of really anything. I mean, there's a couple things some housekeeping items we need to take care of, but we have no,
But is there a potential for that?
if they come back, and redo our permit, which they say they've been meaning to, but that was 2 years ago, and the new permit criteria that they come out with, we'll have some effluent parameters such as, let's say ammonia, phosphorus. We wouldn't be able to meet those currently with the drain field. Drain fields just can't provide that. They don't provide treatment like that. So we would be at risk, yeah.
So what do you tell the people that are on? Like, we have a potential to sit here and not have a sewer system for our house, which makes the house unlivable, which devalues my home. I'm on the sewer system.
Right.
I mean, that's,
Right. I mean, they're,
because that's why I'm on it.
right,
Because back, the health department says, no, you can't have a sewer system, you gotta go on.
sure.
Because we're not gonna solve this tonight.
No,
No, and I'm not saying that we need to solve tonight, but there's gotta be some decisions made, like what we're gonna do.
Jennifer, you got some asks for these guys?
yeah, I think you guys answered some of them, I think, Matt. It's basically, yes, do we want to restrict our growth and potentially decrease it to make sure that we fall under those flow parameters and cut off some customers, meaning those that do not meet the residential or restaurant criteria? Or do we want to maintain our current flows with some growth, but again, restrict specific customers such as those that don't meet residential or restaurant? Or do we want to accommodate growth, and that would include industrial and commercial? I mean, those are the three options you guys have. And I say those because each one of them are, correspond with the cost. So the first one, second, third, the costs, as you guys probably already know, go up exponentially.
You good?
I am, thank you. Please go ahead, unless I,
Kelly, can you put my slides up there?
Yep.
Or actually, so you like.
What?
Hope me and my turn up for a minute.
Oh, thank you. 10B, are you gonna do the trash pickup, or are you gonna go stay in the water?
I'm gonna ask for two things. I'm gonna give you an update on 4 things, and I'm gonna ask for money and one. I'm back on for it. Okay.
Okay.
So, and then actually, Kelly, you can have 30 seconds of my time if you want, if you have a comment. raise
Oh, yeah.
or-
What do you got?
I was just going to let you guys know, my dad was in a lawsuit with the EEQ, which is now Eagle, for 20 years over a property in East Jordan, and caught them with essentially trying to pass the buck over to making him pay for $1 million payment. He's the first and only private owner person that has sued the EEQ, and he won. It cost me several $100,000. However, I would strongly encourage him to look at litigation.
Thanks, Kelly.
Needed a grant for that.
from the state.
Don't tell me.
All right, guys, so the sky is not falling. Appreciate Jennifer's opinion. There's multiple ways to skin this cat. I'm gonna hit about 5 minutes on the sewer system. Just a couple of points, FYI. So the biggest sewer user in town is me, is the laundromat. I get the biggest bill. I use the most water. I'm in the process of pulling my flow off into my own system. So that's gonna alleviate things. So I guess I ask you to do 2 things. Look at this in bites, and this is an elephant. So look at this in the next 30 days. There's some things that you can do. One of them is which I'm gonna ask for $2,600 to get us there. And then what Jennifer said, in the next 3 to 5 years, what we want the village to look like. Do we want it to shrink? Do we want it to stay the same, or do we want it to kind of grow? I'm thinking we don't want it to shrink, but I mean, that's what the council is for.
Do you want me to go next slide?
Is that the first one?
Yeah.
There we go, okay.
Oh, you want the agenda?
Okay. Oh, there you go. Okay. Anyway, so this is what I'm gonna give you an update on the sewer system work plan proposal. So back in May, I came to you and said, hey, I wanna land apply to the village field so I can build a car wash, and the state shut that down. So I'm on my third attempt with the state. They finally got tired of me and gave me an approval to do something. It's been 2 years now. So persistence is key to this, and, you know, we have to, with Eagle, tell them what we're gonna do. And, you know, they're not gonna tell us what to do, we're gonna tell them what to do. And, you know, they can say it every night. So the work plan, and what I asked for back in May, was we have to tell, one of the main compliance points in the DEQ last conversation we had with them, there was 5. We didn't submit 3 biosolids reports, which Jen was gonna do, take care of, from 2020, 2021, 2020, 21, 22. That's administrative. We need to pull a follow-up sample, we're gonna do that next week. And they did ask about flow monitoring, they keep asking about flow monitoring. So we can say if we're under or over 20,000 gallons, we're working on that. The fourth one is, they don't trust our data because our monitoring wells are in the wrong place. So they've been hounding on us for years to say, we need more monitoring wells. Monitoring wells are about $30,000, $30,000 to $40,000-ish for what we need, for what the village needs. I know that because I was gonna do the same work for my car wash that I want to put in. It's just literally over the property line, so it's the same stuff. It's the same soil type, it's the same depths, it's the same parameters that they're asking for. But before we spend that $30,000 to $40,000 on putting wells in, we need to tell them through a work plan that here's where we're gonna put them. You want to flip forward, I think I got this. Yep. So the red X's are we heard, it's rough, but the red X's are about where we have monitoring wells right now. Now, whether Eagle wants 3 or 4, that's what the green pluses are. That's what they want. And if we do that, I mean, we're not currently out of compliance. So they're saying, we don't know if we're out of compliance or not because you think the water is going past your monitoring wells in a different direction. So if we put these in, we've got data to back ourselves up to say, yes or no, we're out of compliance or not. If we're not out of compliance with things like total inorganic nitrogen, phosphorus, chlorides, then they really can't do anything to us to say, you can't continue to use your tile system, or, you know, our forefathers did leave some room in there to put in more tile systems. They can't do anything to us. They can potentially write a new permit, but if we're not out of compliance, they can't enforce it. So, in my opinion, and I'm a licensed wastewater operator, you know, I've got a master's in chemical engineering, I've done this stuff. This is a no-brainer, $2,400 to tell the DEQ with a plan. I've already got it written. I already bought the plan from an engineer over in Gaylord. They just need some wording changes. This is where we're gonna put the wells. And they're gonna put those plus signs wherever they want. So that then goes into, if we just think about the next 30 days, we can do this in the next 30 days. In the next 90 days, we can get together a well driller, which Bel Air is already doing. We want to kind of pitch on their wagon because they have to do it for other reasons. When I say well driller, it's a well driller and it's called a geoprobe. You basically take a truck with a big jackhammer on the back and push pipe down and pull soil profiles and samples. Just getting those guys out here is about $1,200, $1,300. So we want to kind of use that same money that they're already here. I'll probably use them too because I've got to punch some holes in there as well. So that's, you know, that's when that $30,000 is going to come out. Then after that, then we've got, I use this cautiously, but kind of a lot of time to decide what we're going to do. That's when we get into the pre-engineering phase. That's when we let Jennifer bid on the project. That's when we get to, firms to look at this differently and say, well, Jennifer wants the good ones. Well, no, there's different ways to treat this. To potentially say, we're gonna grow slightly or we're gonna really grow. And that's the way out. So if we want to focus on kind of the here and now, we need to submit this work plan to the DEQ to tell us where to put the wells, and then there's a $30,000 ish for the next one. This was being very transparent. This was my cost to get my permit for the potential car wash. So task 2, the $2,346, that's the work plan that I've already bought, and I changed some wording to submit because they've already approved that for me. The big sign. And then the well cost, they quoted $26,000, and this was about 9 months ago. So Jennifer is at 3 to 4 wells, that's probably in the neighborhood, isn't it?
Yeah, what does that work out to be for each?
6,500.
Yeah, that's what we saw for earlier, it was about
Yeah.
$6,000 a piece. 20 for depth, you're about 25 feet deep.
Those are shallow, and one a deep one too, at 60 foot.
Okay.
So that's the here and now. So that's the one monitoring ask I'm gonna ask you is for $2,600, which I'll, if it's okay, I'd rather just have that taken off my order bill. We'll get that one placed in there.
Our account would go crazy. That would,
Because we
That
got
would-
money on all that.
it would just throw the earth orbit off.
All right, next slide. Okay, so that was one of the asks. This is more FYI, so we didn't do a fall pick or a spring pickup, whatever.
Oh, we're on to
We're on the trash.
10B, trash pickup date.
And I'll wait till the end for questions. So this doesn't cost the village any money. It gives the township people and the village people, not the village people, it's saying, but people around here an option to get rid of big items. This is through Revolution Waste. They do this for Calcasa, they do this for Bel Air facilities. All it means is either we would or Revolution Waste can print the stickers. Residents can put it on their couch, their chair, or whatever they want to. It's $40, so we take it away every Thursday, and Ally will sell the tickets out of here. So it's kind of if we want to do that or not. The other option is we do a fall pickup or a spring pickup, and it's about $17,000 to $20,000 to do that. Who pays for that? That could be the township, that could be you guys, that could be whoever. But this is no money out of the village's fund, and it's an option to get rid of some of the big stuff. I was asked to follow up on this, so this is the follow-up. So, this is my second ask. So Chris Corbett came to last month's meeting. We have been successful after 2 years of trying to get the auto clinic cleaned up. Still need, it's not cleaned up yet, but all the preliminary lab data and all that stuff is done. The property is sold. So we need as part of the grant application, which that money becomes available October 1st with the state. We've already been pre-approved, but it is a state. It's a $500,000 grant to get that cleaned up. You need a letter of support, which I wrote for you guys. Feel free to edit it. We just need that signed and sent in. It says, yes, generally your approval. And there's still time before any building takes place. I would say push for us anytime you can to say yes to one apartment above it. Any type of facial stuff, whatever, it's still in process. So I need to sign the letter for you guys to get that. Fourth thing, no?
Okay.
Just some other stuff going on. The Central Bel Air non-motorized trail grant award gets awarded September 12th for $350,000. I hate to be optimistic, but we have a really good shot at that. We've had 2 discussions with Michigan Health Endowment. The funds are out of Brighton so far. We definitely fit within the criteria. They were going to help us. So that would take care of pre-engineering. The project itself is about $3 million. We're actually more confident that we would be able to get $1 million than we would the seed money. So the seed money is really important because there's the DOT funds and then there's the DNR funds, which we're going to talk to those guys.
How much is this? So September 12th is the awarding of the preliminary.
$350,000 is what we're granted for.
Thank
That'll be a big deal. Michelle, I don't know if you wanted to speak to this, you want to spoke a little bit about DDA Christmas decorations. I think, I think May or June I asked you guys for the DDA budget. We got money there for banners, always in the works. We want to do Christmas decorations too, so.
Yeah, and so, I think that seasonal decor updating and, replacement is beyond DDA. I think it's also, I think it's just a village responsibility. So I don't think we would, ask the DDA to budget for that. It's similar to the, you know, landscaping that the village does to the downtown area. So I think that we would work in conjunction though to think about how our village appears and make some decisions to improve the appearance of the village during seasonal times.
I'll help any way I can, go and ask you guys for money and do that. So, right. And then I don't know where else Sky will do the business with it.
Yeah.
And then homecoming, actually, John, one of the things I was gonna ask you, just to get around to it, kind of based off the party that Pledges and Michelle had, we'd like to shut down the road on Friday.
Friday the 11th.
October 11th, because that's Fall Fest, it's homecoming. We've already got our committee kind of working on events. We'd like to have one of those parties so we can get the road shut down.
Whole thing?
No, not Old State, you want
No.
98.
Immediate, yeah. Yeah.
Do you want the same distance that we did for the block party, like extending down kind of to the funeral home?
I'm just one opinion. I thought it was cool that way. I don't know that, you know, Chris's people at the grocery store seem to do pretty well, but it made it feel pretty spacious and welcoming. If we're gonna have all, you know, 5 years of alumni come back, it'd be pretty cool. I don't know how much more effort it is to have that, have the south section of it shut down rather than just the north section.
And that's homecoming weekend, correct? Because that area, I mean, if the kids are gonna make floats and stuff like that, that would be a fun, I mean, there's a lot to think about because we're making some major changes into how it's always been done.
Right.
But,
There's no shortage, from what I'm seeing, there's no shortage of people with ideas and kind of help with it. I mean, it's pretty much John's shoulders on shutting it down, so that's really across.
right, so he
Yeah,
could get a permit to get it,
yeah,
to allow us to shut it down for a few hours, just Friday night?
okay, yeah.
Is that what we're looking at, just
Yeah.
Friday night?
And we're looking at, maybe doing a few non-class, I guess, class C, some fireworks after the game. We're looking at, doing, the East Pavilion, the road down, or what else do we have on there? We have several events.
Yeah, we had several bonfires, stuff like that.
So, and we just want to, you know, we just want to start it. It's not going to be perfect this year, but get better every year.
Matt, do you have a time frame for the road to be shut down? I know.
No, I don't.
Okay, I'll get back to you.
Yeah. What, I guess, what do we have for the party? Was it 7 to?
We shut it from 6 to 11, which gave us an hour to set up from 6 to 7. And then the thing ended at 10 and then we cleaned
6
up.
to
But
11.
it'll be getting darker earlier,
Yeah.
you know, so
6 to 10:30.
What time does the homecoming game start?
So, 7th game.
on Friday.
Maybe after that, I don't know.
Might
You
want to go
the
to
time, I'll let you go.
Well, yeah, we'll talk.
Yeah, 2 hours.
But you know, the game's gonna go till 9, 10.
So maybe the shutdown day would be Saturday.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Maybe it'd be like a Saturday night thing.
Well, it's fall fest, so it'll be, yeah, that'll probably work.
Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
The 12th. We're gonna shut it down the 12th.
See how it's just kind of close. So going back to trying to be respectful of time, so I would like, I don't want to come back in 30 days and have to ask you for $2,600 I'm asking tonight. If you approve that, to get the work plan. I mean, it really doesn't matter when I get the money, but, that's what it costs to get the work plan. I want to get that submitted, in the next 2 weeks to Eagle, strong at, Eagle.
So will Eagle put the bill, or we gotta put the bill on that? So we gotta,
Eagle will approve it or deny it, and it seems how they approved mine, that looks exactly the same, which is adjacent to it. I don't see why they wouldn't approve it, well, but there are things that happened.
Right.
So would that be an action item?
It would be, it's money. We would have to do a roll call.
yeah,
It's
we're,
actually
what do you think here?
$40.
Well, I guess just to, further reinforce, and I'm sure some of this was back in the council with some of the struggles we've had with Eagle. So just so you guys know, I mean, there are on-site already, monitoring wells. And those are at the time strategically located based on the hydro report that was done. back in 1983 that supposedly they have on file. Oh, thank you. So we have some that we're using, and this was something that they just came out of nowhere in one of our Zoom meetings, claiming that our monitoring wells in the wrong location. And what caught me definitely off guard, because again, these locations were strategically identified through hydroanalysis, much like what Matt's talking about back in 1983 with the original project that identified the groundwater pattern and everything heading towards the lake. Eagle, during that meeting, speculated they didn't like those monitoring wells and actually claimed that it's going the other way, 180 degrees.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I have in email communication from them, and so I asked them to, because I actually don't have a copy of that old hydro report. We looked through our files, we don't have anything. I have some supplemental data from that supported it in a later permit that was renewed in excerpts, but I actually put it back on them that how can they go against a hydro report they approved back in 1983 that actually had monitoring done that clearly indicated the groundwater pattern, and now they're claiming something different unless, nothing's going to change 180 degrees unless there's some external force at work.
Plate tectonics.
Like, or someone's got a huge, snowmaking machine or, irrigation system, what have you. So I just, I asked them that question and they've yet to provide us that information. So and I know I've shared this with you too, Matt. So maybe during this process, we can reach at them again and ask them, because I just don't want any of us putting in monitoring wells and potentially be at risk for the same thing again. Like, oh, that's not where we wanted it later.
By submitting this on paper, those little, it'll be a little more technical, those pluses, they can move those pluses wherever they want to. Once they move those, and they say this is approved, that's what those ones go. There's no wiggle room.
So we're kind of submitting it to them, saying, this is where we think it is.
Right.
You folks, you tell us. We're kind of pushing their hand or their mouse to click where they want it to go.
A good offense is a good defense.
The board test, just to
Yep.
see where is the best place for the well, or
The best-
is
for the best
there
soil.
hiring over there?
That's where that GeoPro thing comes into play. So they'll come over with the jackhammer on the back of the truck and say, oh, you hit the clay lines, don't go there, let's go 20 feet over here. This is better. So that's kind
So we're gonna get their blessing first before we sink any holes.
before we spend $30,000. Yes.
That's what the 2,600 is for.
That's what 2,600 for.
Right.
Or 2,400.
Well, we'll have it right, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's.
Well, it's a hell of a lot better than just he said, she said.
Yeah, we'll have it in writing.
That's what I've been waiting 2 years on the permit for the car wash. I couldn't make that work, so. That's all I got.
I don't know, the time we should have had. We didn't know that we had asked to.
Spend money. So we have to do, go back up and amend the agenda, action item $2,600.
It's not the end of the world. This is something that's kind of it's insurance for us to go forward.
Just as far as meeting procedures are concerned, I don't know, I just don't want us to do something and then have it not be leaked,
Okay, Ally, so if we want to approve $2,600, we have to go back and agenda amend.
Close, that was close.
Amend the agenda.
Oh, sorry. I apologize. Yep. Amend the agenda. And then vote on the amended agenda, and then approve the $2,600.
Parliamentary procedure,
I think I'm seeing it in September. So.
maybe.
Want to do it now? Well, considering there's an item about 5 or 6 items down.
That we're not having a September.
Yeah, September, oh, that's right, September's meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Walk me through this, Ally. So
Motion to amend the agenda
I'd
and
like
to
to make a
add,
motion to amend the agenda. All in favor to amend the agenda, say aye. All right. So the agenda will be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. How do we want it worded?
We'll
Um,
do it when we get there.
We'll do it when we get there. All right.
And I'm not on my phone, I'm just asking when can the meeting agenda be amended? When
Okay.
can an amendment be agended?
All right, so we did DDA update, we did water system update, we did trash pickup update, we did sewer system upgrade. The new business, marijuana permit fee. Michelle?
Okay, I just want to say this right now.
Okay, say that.
Unless the agency's governing body has adopted a different rule or procedure, which we haven't, it may amend the agenda at any time during the meeting in order to add or remove an item.
Excellent.
All right,
Which is good, good to be legal.
all right, thank you all.
So back when we first gave the permit for the marijuana establishment in Central Lake, our permit fee was $5,000, and it was to cover the administrative costs, all of the costs that came with help, figuring out how this needed to work and how and how it would be maintained and what kind of law enforcement would be needed and all the other details that come along with a totally new thing that's new legislatively and new to our state when there's not a lot of precedent set and there's lots of regulations that need to be followed and knowing that the regulations can change. So we could justify at that initial permit, and even for the second year, we could justify the permit fee of $5,000 because of all of the associated legality things that we needed to be on top of or understanding or developing even the forms and all of the paperwork copies and everything. The state says that our permit fee needs to be justifiable. And so we are at a point now where the law has been in place for several years. The business has been in place for several years. And so we can't really justify charging the permit holder a renewal fee that's the same as the initial permit fee. And so I'd like to put forth that whatever business we have granted that marijuana permit license to, that so even in the future, if Kelly's business is no longer here and we have to reissue a permit to a new permit holder, that first year we maintain the $5,000 initial permit, but that in the future, when it's time to renew, that the renewal fee be $100. Because we would have some administration.
And legal fees for new.
Yeah, the new permit fee, I mean, when a new permit is issued, $5,000 is justifiable. When we're renewing, if we had to explain to the state why we would charge a business $5,000 to renew an already existing permit, we can't really justify that anymore. And so I would put forth that the renewal fee for the one marijuana license in town should be $100. And that's just based on an expected amount of paperwork, copies, reports. But the business is already established. There's no laws that are being changed at this point. We're not involved in any litigation or anything like that. It's percolating along. So that is what I would propose as we move forward in these new waters going forward.
You mentioned one of the items was a report. Do we have to do an annual report or something?
We do not.
No.
We do not. And we didn't know, when all of this was coming down the pike, we didn't know what to expect. I think our clerk has not a lot to do except to deposit the check that we get for the establishment. And that, you know, certainly we can handle the cost of that. So, because how much did we get last, do you recall how much we got last year for our marijuana?
I believe it was either 49 or 51,000, one or the other.
So,
From the state.
from the state.
Dollars.
Dollars.
All right, so that's action item. We'll move on to that. We can vote on that later. Any
Does
questions
anybody have
for
any
Michelle?
questions or comments or anything?
You would keep it at $5,000 and you just pay for the sewer system.
Oh, I have really funny things to say, but I'm not going to say it.
We'll move on then. 11, new business, 11B, amending our village code, chapter 11, dismantled or inoperable motor
Did
vehicles.
Kelly want to say anything? She's on the agenda. It's under her name.
I'm good.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Oh, yeah, I apologize.
It's okay.
Thank you. Council members, look over that amended village code. That was what Brian Graham's been working on. We'll talk about it at the next meeting. If you want to modify something or have questions, have them prepared for the next meeting.
Just out of curiosity,
Yep.
what has changed?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I don't know. He told us a while back to update our dismantled vehicle, inoperable vehicles, since we were starting to. Scott, do you remember, what did we change?
I've never seen
Yeah,
either one of these.
yeah, so that's that one.
It says an ordinance to amend it, chapter 11.
Yep,
Anytime you make changes.
This is just the amendments, or?
that is the
whole
new one.
ordinance?
That's the whole brand new ordinance.
Oh, then his title is correct there.
Will you circle it?
Yeah.
And we'll get
It
it
would
back.
be an amendment though, because we already have one in place, so we would amend the old one and replace it with the new
Oh, is
one.
that what he means?
Even though 99% of it parallels the other one, it would still be amended.
So the mattress will be gone?
No.
My neighbor, oh, it won't, okay.
No, unless they put wheels on it.
It doesn't say mattress, so they're not for mobility.
Oh, all right.
So just go to the old.
Yeah, go to the code book. Well, actually, you can go online and look it up and see where the changes are. So moving on, I don't have any other information than what's before you. 11C, amend the village code, chapter 10, noxious weeds. Those are your two homework assignments. Go home, pull up the existing ordinances, chapter 11, chapter 10. If you want to make modifications or changes or questions, submit them to Ally, then we can send them all off to Brian.
I'm ready for some action items.
12A, action item, approve Rob Tyler and Michelle Fox for the municipal league conference September 11th through the 14th. That's budgeted, that is under education. I went 4 years ago. I thought it was really good, and that's where we're at.
Make sure you go to Shetler's Nest Airline.
Oh, yeah.
Already bought the tickets.
All right.
Hope you approve.
I'll make a motion to approve Rob Tyler and Michelle Fox to go to the Michigan Municipal League Conference, September 11th to 14th. Back on.
We're spending money, let's do a roll call.
Patton,
Yes.
Ring,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Fox.
Do I abstain? Doesn't have to be me. I'm going to abstain because you're voting about me.
Tyler,
I'll abstain to this.
Smart.
Shearhart,
Yes.
Drake.
Yes.
Thank you all. 12B, approve the sale price of the enclosed envelope auction for the village old white docks. No, you can do it. You're,
Oh, no. I'm not the president. Unless you got that right now.
Yeah, I think I can put it
all right, let's see here. Plumbing, Haggard's Plumbing and Heating, village docks for a bid of $100. John Haggard we have any other bids?
Check the
All right,
mail
so-
at 5 o'clock.
Oh, where do we put that money in then? The campground?
It came from the campground.
Where do we buy them from? Like, I mean, when we buy the docks, they come from the campground fund, right?
Campground fund, did it not, Brian?
Yes.
All right.
You might have campground.
Very good.
Uh,
So, yeah, make a motion.
oh yeah, we're getting money, so let's vote on it. I'd like to make a motion to accept Haggard's Plumbing and Heating bid of $100 for the old Village White Docks. We're getting money, so it's money, so let's do a roll call.
Patton,
Yes.
Ring,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yep.
Shearhart,
Yes.
Drake.
Yes.
C, approve to allocate $10,000 from the general fund / ARPA fund to replace and upgrade seasonal decor. Michelle?
Well, we talked about this, briefly during Matt's DDA report, and for many years, we have not updated or, replaced or changed seasonal holiday decor in the village. And it's very noticeable. Every other municipality around us has a nice look during the holiday season. And so I would submit that we should look at upgrading what we have so that the village is more welcoming and appealing, not only during the Christmas or holiday season, but also maybe year round. And so what I'm looking at is maybe different lighting options for around our decorative lamp posts through town, maybe an entryway banner or garland or something festive, so it looks nice, but also to differentiate us from the other villages. Mancelona's got their snowflakes, and Ellsworth has their cool little decorative pole things. And so just looking at something that would be traditional, that would reflect the spirit of the village and make us look welcoming and inviting, not just at Christmas time, but all year round. So.
Now, is that something that you will be in charge of purchasing with Matt?
Lots of, I would ask for input from obviously the DPW because they've got to be able to install it, the DDA, and even getting some input from the chamber. Now, if you would like to form some sort of ad hoc committee for this, that would be. So the DDA could, okay. So I guess I would ask that the DDA make recommendations. And again, I would like to utilize, I didn't say this before, if we decide to go with traditional commercial decor, I would like to look at Bronner's and Frankenmuth because they are a state, long-term, successful business where we can get good customer service and help with, installation specs and things like that. So I would suggest that even if we might be able to find the decor cheaper on the internet, I would like to look at Bronner's as a
Be able to personalize.
Absolutely, yeah. And we know that they'll be here next year if there's a problem.
Yeah.
The only thing is if we want to get this accomplished for this year, we're going to have to look at this because it's already August, which in like Christmas words is like, it's already happening. So we'll have to make some decisions soon. In our spare time.
You could actually do a pole decorating party. People come out, I mean, you just,
You could do that.
just.
Great idea. Yeah.
Just a thought.
Okay, so that's what I have to say about that. Any other questions or anything about that?
No, I think it's time because every morning in front of the barber shop, I pick up handfuls of garlic every day. Because they fall off, they're just a holding ground.
Yeah.
All right.
We gotta step up.
Garland.
Yeah, Garland everywhere.
Garland everywhere.
I'll move to allocate $10,000 from the general fund. Replace that break seasonal floor.
I'll support.
Roll call.
Patton,
Yes.
Ring,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Shearhart,
Yes.
Drake.
Yes.
12D, approve the renewal fee for an existing adult use marijuana permit set at $100 annually as of the 2024 calendar year. Michelle, anything to add?
Just spoken my piece.
I'll move to approve the renewal fee.
Ally, roll call, please.
Patton,
I'm gonna abstain.
Ring,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Shearhart,
Yes.
Drake.
Thank you. E, approve lifelong ban of Erica Boucher from the Thurston Park Campground. Scott, enlighten us.
Oh. So,
Lifelong.
what day was it? I can't remember.
Last Thursday.
Thursday, okay. I wake up looking at my phone going, Thurston Park, seriously?
August.
So yeah, I called out about midnight, had a disturbance down there. As I'm on the phone with, Ron, talking about the disturbance and what our game plan was, there was an explosion in the park. So part of the disruption involved an explosion, so got dressed, got in the car, got there. So long story short, domestic assault, and in the process of the domestic assault, a fan got thrown in the fire and the batteries blew up. So yeah, quick there. Long story short, one of the parties went to jail, and that's who you're being asked to ban from the park, just as a standard procedure. So I did sign a warrant the other day, and that's kind of going through the process that way. And if anybody, is more than one wants to read the textual report, there's a report on file too. So, but I think what you're being asked to do is kind of standard when people are creating a disturbance at the park and or get arrested. And yeah, by the time I get there at 12 o'clock at night, there's 15, 20 other campers already awake and watching the spectacle. So, it's kind of,
The only time they're ever off their phones.
our campground managers are having a kind of difficult time from time to time, and I think this is a good precedent to say.
Well, I think, Rob and I have talked about this a lot. Not that we have an issue, but we have an issue, about 2 a year, we kind of need to have a zero tolerance policy.
Absolutely.
And that way it gets the point across. We have enough people, there's enough demand for that campground that it's a family campground. We can't allow that.
And again, I think if you're gonna set precedent from things that happened in the past and then also moving forward, I think it's a good thing to say, if it rises to that level where people are being threatened, people are being disturbed, and people are going to jail, then it kind of meets that criteria. So,
And people were put in danger. I mean,
Exactly.
that explosion, put in a fan, fire, how ridiculous is that?
yeah,
So I'll make a motion to approve a lifelong ban of Erica Boucher from Thurston Park Camp.
Second.
All in favor of banning Erica Boucher, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Yeah, opposed, thank you.
Anybody opposed?
F, approve September Village Council regularly scheduled meeting to be canceled because of multiple extenuating circumstances. I am not going to be here. Michelle will not be here. It is Ally's wedding week, so she will not be able to get the meeting minutes to the paper for another 2 weeks, right? Because you would not be able to do it.
Yeah, I
So
want to get it in
there's-
the paper on time.
3 cogs of this machinery will be out. Questions about canceling?
Save us $500 for your Mackinac Island.
There you go. I'd like to make it approve that the September Village Council regularly scheduled meeting be canceled because of multiple extenuating circumstances. Support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. G, approve EPS security proposal for a total of $16,706.38 for installation and $158 in monthly service fees from the general fund. As I'm reading this, Ally, we never got any information back as if we could cancel, can we cancel the campground? 158, it's gotta be, you can't,
Yeah, you can't cancel that. It has to be around.
What can't we cancel? Oh, we
The
can't.
We can't put
subscription.
it on hold in the wintertime.
They don't allow it.
So
Scott,
that-
go on.
That means it'll be operable in the winter time also,
Correct.
so we're viewing everything, okay.
Well, you know, winter, people are criminals in wintertime too.
Yeah.
Fishing tournaments down there.
Well, I think, you know, as the head of the park committee, I guess, the last couple of years, we've had a lot of trouble down there. Mainly teenage kids from, unfortunately, from town. And this will give us possibly some evidence on camera. We had an issue this year with coolers being stolen, and
I forgot about the coolers.
we caught the individual, which is a local teenager. But if we have things on camera, we'll have more evidence. So I will make a motion to approve EPS security proposal for the total of $16,706.38 to install cameras at the Thurston Park and the Lions Club today.
And 158 month.
And 158 monthly service fee.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Rain,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yep.
Shearhart,
Yes.
Drake.
Yes.
Half of that money will come out of the campground.
Correct.
Yep.
Yes.
Campground is very flush.
Yeah, 8,800.
8, we're back to the $2,600. Matt, exactly what, give me the wording, what we're doing, the permit fee,
No, it's the engineering and geological work, research that is required to submit an applicable work plan.
No, it's a monitoring construction plan.
monitoring,
Work.
Work plan.
ooh, I like that, nice and short.
For each.
Monitoring, well. Does this sound about right? Approved monitoring well work plan to be submitted to Eagle for $2,600.
Yeah, we're not submitting, well, yeah, right.
Right?
We're not giving Eagle $2,600.
Okay,
To have, all right, so,
coverage making the work plan.
Correct, yes.
so,
to make the work.
Submitting it to my company, which I paid an engineer to do that, so.
Cost for preparation
Cost for preparation.
of a monitoring well work.
All right.
Yeah.
We're not paying Eagle anything. Yeah.
And you may want to just make a note that it's pertinent for wastewater.
Help me out here, folks. Let's get a nice concise sentence here.
Jennifer Gabriels.
Hey.
We're on speaker.
Payment of $2,600. Connect Eagle.
So we're gonna do the company name. So DH3S. And submit to
I don't even
Eagle.
DH3S.
to prepare and submit. It's the,
Monitoring well, work plan to the state of Michigan from Eagle.
plan for wastewater,
Effluent monitoring, yeah.
or act,
Wastewater effluent monitoring. Yeah. I think that would be clear.
to DH3S to prepare and submit monitoring well work plan for affluent and wastewater.
Water.
And I don't want to say monitoring and.
State approval
For state approval.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We ended there.
of.
You got it?
Sort of, but I'm not gonna say.
Approved payment of $2,600 to DH3S to prepare and submit a monitoring well work plan for affluent and wastewater to Eagle.
No, yeah, to people.
Land to,
We got a real brain trust up
There
here.
you go.
is that correct?
Yeah, is it?
I'd like to make that motion.
Say it again.
No,
Could you read that again, Ron? No, just kidding.
Okay.
I'll second it.
We're spending money, please, Ally, do it quickly.
Chapman,
Yes.
Ring,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Michelle, Fox,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Shearhart,
Yes.
Drake.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Public comment. All right, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Thank you all. It was a long meeting. I appreciate everyone's time.
Yeah, well, I'm really slow.
Yeah, really.